prosperity is not the primary proof that a man is in alignment with God. In our contemporary times, where people are rated spiritually by how much of possession they have and how wealthy they are, it's essential that we admonish ourselves once more that prosperity is not the primary proof that a man is in alignment with God. You don't rate your spiritual progress and your walk with God by what the devil also have the capacity to also give to you. You rate your spiritual progress by how much of Christ you are becoming, how much of him you know, and how much of him you are being transformed and transfigured into. That is very essential. And by the way, you must also understand that we must learn to know how to abase and abound. Paul the Apostle, as much as he is someone that we all look up to, writing the Pauline epistles and the rest of them, he stated something that he can do all things through Christ that strengthen him. Many a times it has been misunderstood and misused, but when you check from scriptural perspective, the all things in context was the ability to abase and abound. What that would mean is that in our contemporary times, many believers only know how to abound and don't know how to abase. 1 Timothy 6 verse 6, godliness and contentment is a great gain. There are many people who are not contented with what they have. Listen and listen very well. There is a subtle thing of there is a subtle gospel of materialism, and you see, it's not really, I won't want to call it the prosperity gospel, because the gospel, prosperity is part of the gospel, but there is a subtlety of materialism that is entering into our contemporary preaching of the gospel, whereby people focus have been placed on idolizing material things, rating it as advancement. Listen and listen very well. Contentment is part of the gospel. The Bible says, for as many that will live godly in Christ, in 2 Timothy, will suffer persecution. And some of this persecution will make certain people not to be wealthy, not to be rich. And so stop making it look like those who are not rich are not having a good walk with God. Some of them might be in the states that they are in because of their stand for the truth. Some people are not being promoted in the office. Some people are not receiving what they should receive in the office, not because they are not diligent, but because they have chosen to stay and stand for the truth. As many that will live godly in Christ will suffer persecution. The disciples asked Jesus and said, we have left all to follow you. So what is it for us? He said, you are going to receive in this life and the life to come 100-fold, wife, children, car, rest of them. And he added persecution. And so many people are undergoing persecution, and because of that, they are not so prosperous as they were. Stop using prosperity as a tool to judge spirituality. It's a very wrong thing to do. And many of us also should come to the point where we are contented. We are in a generation where people are not contented with what they have. And that is why you hear statements like, thanksgiving is an application for more. So even the motive for giving thanks is so that they can become prosperous. Very wrong. Contentment is key. Are you contented with what you have? We are saying come to the point where you are contented. Many a times, because of the lust of our heart, we want to acquire many things. Many a times we are not even thinking about the advancement of the gospel. Let me ask you, you have the money you have today. You are rich and you are blessed. How much of your income goes towards the advancement of the gospel? If you have to spend majority of your money on yourself, is an evidence that you are living a life that you will not be remembered for in the next generation. Everybody you see today who is remembered, they were not the richest people in the world, but they were people who live selfless, who live for others. Be contented with what you have and live for Jesus. Let your resources speak for the kingdom. And stop using your resources to judge your walk with God. Because me and you know you are not doing the right thing. You don't have a prayer life. You don't have a study life. You are only just a good giver. And so you give to the kingdom so well and you are prosperous. And yet you are using your prosperity to judge a man who God is taking to a corridor of training and is in the place of prayer and fasting. And because he is lame, you know how people feel that you are prosperous and you are blessed. You know, Africa feel that you are blessed because you are fat. The rich people are fat people. They don't know fat there is sickness. So stop rating. You know, to be said with you, sometimes wealth can be a thing of not a blessing but a curse, because sometimes the wealth is the reason why many people leave the Lord. And so my encouragement to you is that godliness and contentment is a great gain, and suffering is part of the gospel. Don't feel ashamed when you go through suffering for the sake of the gospel. God bless you.